So let's grab your yarn needle. And remember, I like the pointier kind for this application. Just makes it easier to get into the ball with the fiber fill in there. Sometimes it's still a little bit difficult, but it certainly makes the job a little bit easier. So let's just thread our needle and position it right in the middle there, like that. And sewing this up together is just as easy as finding a stitch, going all the way through it, and then back out, and make sure you don't poke the stuffing out. Some of these stuffings are a little bit harder to get through than others. Alright, and then once you're all the way through, just go right back through that stitch. Make sure you go right back through the same stitch the same way, so you're not pulling the ball tight over here. All right, then you're going to poke right back through the top, and then go straight through the top of the ball. And it's a little bit wonky to get used to at first. Excuse me, but as you go along, it gets easier and easier. And we're just going to keep doing that all the way down through there, and then find the stitch right next to your last one and work it through. This stuffing I got this time is it wants to fight with me sometimes, and I don't like it. But we make do with what we have, and poke it straight back through, and then back up through right next to your last stitch, and then just find a stitch, whichever one it goes out through easiest, and then out through, and then make sure you're pulling it tight. Don't yank on it so hard that you're going to break the yarn, but you want to make sure it's nice and tight. And looks like we'll do one more up through here, poke it through there, and out through like that. And there we have the first section of the ball sewed on. So why don't you go ahead and do the other two. The only difference is we're going to sew the second medium ball the same way, but then on our third medium, or on our third ball, our smaller ball, you don't want to sew it like this again, because you're going to have the fluff hanging out. So we're going to sew it upside down like that. That way we have a finished edge on the bottom. You see that? That's how it's going to go. So sew on down and do all your balls together, and we'll be back here and work on the next part. Alright, did you get yours all put together? If not, go ahead and hit that pause button. I'll sit here wait for you. If so, this is about how it should look. Does it look like that? And I finished off all except for these right here, and I'll show you what I did. I took the tail I used to sew the top on, with the tail I used to sew the blue one onto the green, and I threaded them through the same stitch hole right here. And this is how we're going to take care of these yarn tails right here. And we don't want anything coming apart, so you just take and thread them through the same hole and just tie a little knot. And I like to use what I've known as a surgeon's knot, where you make one loop like that and pull it tight, and then you loop that around like so, and loop that around like that, and so it looks like a double knot, and you pull it tight. Is that really a surgeon's knot? I don't know. Do these look like surgeon's hands? No, they're crocheter hands. Whatever knot it is, I've never had any of these come apart on me, so we'll just go ahead and go with that. And then take your needle and thread both tails right up through, like so. And then we're going to poke them back through the same hole. Make sure, I like to pull it off to the side a little bit so you can see the hole in there. And then make sure you go back to the same one so you're not catching any of the stitches and deforming your project here. And then just thread it through and find a nice hole to come out the other side, like that. And then just pull it on through. All right, and reshape it here if it went a little wonky on you. And then just take your trusty little scissors, and I like to put them flat on my project, pull it so it comes up a little bit, cut it, and it springs right back down in there. And you got yarn tails in there, and no one is ever the wiser. And that should never come out on you. Never, ever, ever. That's a promise. Void in the United States. See store for details. All right, enough jokes. So we got our body now. Let's move on to our wings. And you see this this wing here, I've pre-prepared, as they say. And then this one we'll do together. And one thing you want to be very careful of, since we have one of our wing sides is larger than the other. Well, this is the one I have on the top. If you don't like it on the top, put it on the bottom. But I like it on the top, and this one's on the bottom. The larger dot goes on the larger one. The smaller dot goes on the smaller one, obviously. What you want to make sure of is that when you're putting these on, you don't go ahead and put them both on facing the same way. You see? Because then when you open it up, you're going to have dots on the wrong side. So go ahead, and I like to just lay them down like they're going to be, and make sure I got it all laid out properly, because I can't tell you how many times I've sewed something together only to have it be backwards. So this is what we're going to do, top, bottom, and they're going to look like that. So let's get this one over here real quick, and we'll get it started. See, the easiest way I found to do these is you have your tail from when you started, and you don't want that flopping around, so let's make use of it. Go ahead and thread it through your yarn needle, and we'll go ahead and start with the smaller one on the smaller side of the wing, and we're going to just kind of eyeball where the center will be and poke that straight through, and then we'll just have it running through, and then I want to have it coming right straight out the bottom like that, and then just pull it on, and that should keep your little dot just about where you want it. Aha, look at that, you see? If you're not quite so comfortable with eyeballing these, go ahead and get yourself some straight pins and just pin them right on there. That works just as well. I'm going to eyeball it because I'm a master pro. That's why I do YouTube videos. Okay, and then the way we're going to do this is just hold it tight and find the first stitch where you can put your hook through. We're just going to go in, and we're not going to go all the way through. We're just going to pop it out another stitch and then pull it tight. And just very similar to the way we did the balls for the body, just go back straight through the same stitch and then poke back out where it needs to be, up through your spot, and pull it tight, and just keep working that all the way around. The one thing you want to be very careful of is the stitch you come out of. You want to make sure you're going straight back through the same stitch. You don't want to catch any of the sides or anything else, or that's going to pull your work in odd ways. Okay, and then just keep going all the way around, like so. This is not that hard. A little bit of practice, and I've said this to you guys a few times before, but people will be amazed. You will be a miracle worker. You like the praise, the adoration, or maybe you just like to crochet. I like them all. There. Going all the way through. Yeah, and to all you guys out there, I know there's like half of one of you watching. Nothing girls like better than a gift that you made yourself. Trust me, experience talking here. There, go through there. We're almost all the way through this. So if you want to kind of lose your way, you want to check, just go ahead and kind of feel up on the sides. If it comes up, whoops, see, look, it comes up there. So there's where we go next. And I always like to double check that before I tie off and get done, because then I don't have to go back and tie on another piece of yarn to fix something I messed up. But it happens. Alright, so that's all the way on. So the way we're going to tie these off is I'm just going to poke it back through and up through the spot, just like so. Okay, And then we're going to make our little knot. So we're just going to catch the yarn right through the stitch like that, right where we came up, and pull it so you have a little loop. Don't pull that all the way up yet. Take your hook, go through. So now you're going through one hoop, and then you have another one here. Can you see that? So we're going to pull this side until that side goes down, and now we just have one loop. Go back through that loop one more time and pull it tight. I like to put my fingers right down here on the knot as I pull up, if I can hold on to it. And that should pull the knot right down. And then just go ahead and hide your tail straight through the project. This is why I love amigurumis, because I don't have to worry about what I'm going to do with my yarn tails afterwards. I can make a project 15, 20, 30 different colors. All the yarn tails will be right inside. Alright, and then when we're done with that, just take and snip it like that, and hide the rest of the tail right back in through there. Alright, and that's how you do it. Go ahead and put all of your spots on the exact same way, and when we meet back here, we'll be sewing them onto the body. Let's take and get these wings onto our little butterfly. Turn them from a caterpillar into a butterfly. And because you decided to watch the video tutorial on this, you're going to get the pro tip on sewing these wings together. So this is what I do. Go ahead and thread your yarn needle, and we're going to sew this little hole here. We're going to whip stitch it close. Now you see it's not quite the yarn isn't quite all the way to the corner, so we're just going to kind of poke it on through there, bring it all the way to the edge, and we're going to whip stitch it. Well, what's a whip stitch? Well, we're just going to go straight through one side, and the yarn is going to whip over the side. See, just like that, just not back and forth, but just straight through one side of it all the way to the edge, just like so. And that's going to make a nice clean edge for us to sew these wings onto the body. There we are. Oop, see, get a little caught there, and that should do it. See, now we got a nice little clean edge here. Now go ahead and take your little butterfly here and decide which side you want to be the back. Now it looks like mine has like a nice little natural curve going here, so we're going to pick this as our back. So the wings stick out off the back here, and you want to make sure, once again, that the big side is on top and the small side is on bottom, if that's how you want them, which is how I want them. So just go ahead and find where you want it here, and once again, you can absolutely pin these in place if that's what you like to do. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball this here, half just kind of half this ball right down the middle, put the wing right on top, and we're going to start right here, right underneath the head, and go straight down through and pull it tight. And how about pro tip number 2? Instead of going all the way down like this, I'll hold this, turn this around like so. So now here's where we started, up here, and we're going to poke this down through and then come up the bottom where we want the bottom to be. Make sure you don't catch any yarn there. Pull it up, and then you want to just go ahead and stick it straight through here if we can find a convenient spot. Pull it up, and now we have the top and the bottom secured. So we can just keep going on down or on up, depending on how you're holding it. Hold it tight, and you just keep going up through the next stitch over. And now you can just go straight down through and then straight back up, but for something like this, I'll just go straight up through the stitch and then right back down through the body. I think that makes it a little bit tighter, so you're almost whip stitching it onto the body as well. And this yarn, this stuffing here wants to fight with me again. There we go. Just like that. And we're going to keep doing that all the way up. And we've got one wing on. So just take your yarn and go all the way through to the front and pull it out. And we're going to do the same thing as we did with tying the yarn on, or the balls on rather, is we're going to put the second wing on, poke the yarn straight through the same hole, tie them off, and hide it in the body. All right, got the wings all attached. Now we're going to put on our nice little antenna here. You see I already put one on right there. And we're going to go ahead and do the next one together. And just go ahead and make sure, I like to fold my wings up, make sure I have my front of my butterfly here all centered out, and then just turn it straight up and find a nice little place for it. Alright, we're going to go right there, just eyeball it, you know, make sure it looks good for you, and hold it in place, and go ahead and push in your first stitch, pull it tight, and then we're going to hold it here, and just like we did for the wings, our second stitch is going to be straight over on the other side. Let's see if I can get that on camera here. So we're going to go straight over on the opposite side, and then up and through, and that's going to hold it in place where we want it. Okay, and then just go ahead and keep going down all the way around. This should be quite familiar to you. You did this same technique here when you put the body together. Just straight up through, and then back down through into the body. Only a few stitches, and these antennae are on. And there we go. Just like that. Straight back up through. And I'll go ahead and pull it back a little bit just so I can see where it needs to go. Yank me up there a little bit. Just pull that back out like that. Sometimes the yarn catches on the stuffing on the inside, especially when we have this again, this high quality super premium stuffing. Can you tell I don't really like it? Did I say that enough? Alright, and then back down through. And just check and make sure. It looks like we can do with one more stitch in there. So we'll just go ahead and put one more in there. Put as many stitches as you feel it needs. This is going to a much younger little kid. Go around a couple times. Make sure they can't get it off. Good thing about this, there's no bells, no whistles, no beeps or googogs. It's just yarn. Some projects you'll see some people will put like a wire frame or armature on the inside, and that makes the dolls and whatnot stand up, and you can pose them and all that kind of good stuff. But whenever I make something, I gotta fight with my stuffing here again. But whenever I make something, I always assume it's going to go into the hands of a very small kid. So I make it as such. Make sure it's as safe as possible for little fingers. And what we're going to do now is just make sure both of these yarn tails are up through the same hole, and we'll tie off. And then we only have one thing left to do. You know what it is. Make our face. So go ahead and finish up your little antenna here, and we'll be back and stitch a little face on this guy. Okay, we've got all the body parts assembled. Only thing missing now is a cute little face. Let's go ahead and start with this nose in the middle here. You see on our prepared one, we just whip stitched a little nose in here with the same color as the head. So let's do that. And it just so happens I have a little bit left over from sewing the head on. So we're going to use that. And just go ahead and thread it on your yarn needle as I bump my camera all over the place. I hope you guys like bumped cameras, because I do that an awful lot for some reason. And what we're going to do and just go ahead and find the middle of the ball. just eyeball it. We could figure it out, and I can calculate exactly where it is. We're just going to go ahead and eyeball it. Okay, and we're going to say it's right about there. And what I want to do is push the yarn in through the side and come out where we think the nose should go, and then leave just a little bit of a tail there. And then we're just going to go one row down, and that's it, and go through the next stitch right below it, and we're just going to go right around. We'll go one, and we'll go twice. How about 3 times? Can we go 3 times? 3 and 4. You want to maybe push it off to the side there, like that. And one more, yes, 5. Off to the other side a little bit. And we'll go with 6. And then on the 6th one, just bring it back straight up through where you came in. And I believe you guessed it. We'll just tie it off and hide the yarn tails. So let's just go ahead and do that real quick here. Remember, down, and then our surgeon, maybe surgeon not, go through once, go around through again. And with these shorter yarn tails, it's kind of harder to thread them both together, so I just do them separately. And go ahead and thread that through there, and down, and out somewhere else. And then, oh, you got a little one here. So a good tip, we're getting lots of pro tips here today. Stick your yarn needle through before you thread it in, and make it easier to thread through if you have a short little tail. See? And then just keep carrying it down and through like that. And then we'll just go and snip it right off. And then onto the eyes we go. And for the eyes, black, of course. Make sure you have a nice length of black, because you don't want to get halfway through making your face and not have enough. If you have any left over, you put it away for the next face you make. That's what I do. Don't waste any of this stuff. Yarn's expensive. Alright, thread it through, and we're going to do exactly the same thing for our eyes. So just go ahead and find where you want your eyes to be. Okay, just kind of look through there, poke it down through, make little indentations so you can see where the eyes are going to be, and then go ahead and poke it through, and then poke it up through the stitch. And I want to pull it all the way down, give me as much as I can so I don't waste any of my yarn. And then just do the exact same thing as for the nose. We're going to do it and make eyes. See, I think we did 6 stitches for the nose. Let's try 6 for the eyes. So there's 1 and 2. Try to be careful not to poke any of that stuffing up through. 2 and 3. And kind of when you're pulling it up through, kind of you can decide where it's going to fall. So just push it to one side or the other or down the middle, depending on how you want the shape to come out. And there's 4. And we have 5. And one more makes 6. So we're going to go ahead and just make sure it's right in line where you started before. And that looks just about good. All right, I like to pull it down just to make sure we're about even. If not, poke it through a different hole. And 6 more over here. Oh, see, I was poking the stuffing out there. We don't want that. Don't want stuffing to come out. Stuffing needs to be on side. There's 1. And 2. This is the easiest way to make eyes. And it is so cute. You can make them if you stitch eyes completely, 3, then you can obviously play with a little more expression. But I love this little whip stitch eye. 4 and 5 And one more makes 6. Now what do we do next? Well, let's look at this guy. Well, this guy has little eyebrows. You want to learn how to make the eyebrows? So easy. Just poke it straight through, right next to the eye. See how the eye that's coming out of the stitch right next to the eye? Come straight up, and then lay it down. See where you want the eyebrow to go. We're gonna go right about there, and then you're gonna poke it through, and then we're gonna come out the other side from the other eye. We're gonna do all this whole face with one long string of yarn. Minimize our tying offs. Boom, just like that. There's one eyebrow, and you look at here, and see that doesn't work quite well. So we're gonna poke it straight through here, and maybe come out over here. Okay. So if you have a little stuffing that comes out, just kind of take your needle and hook it back down through there. Get a little bit, and then come back up. You know, see these it's not quite symmetrical on both sides, so sometimes you got to play with it. See what looks good. Come back up through. Let's try going through a stitch to move it over where we need it. Okay, let's try that, and we're gonna go straight through like that, and boom, now he has 2 little eyebrows. And what's next? We got a mouth. All right, so the mouth should be just about in line with both eyebrows here, the corners of the mouth. So we're gonna poke it down through where we want it to be. Let's say about right about here. How's that look? Okay, and that's where the first corner of the mouth is. Bring it all the way over, kind of line it up to where you want it to be, and then poke it through. And then here's the secret. Right in line with in the middle here, we're going to poke the yarn straight through the bottom like that. So now you have a straight little mouth there. Isn't that great? But that doesn't look like that, does it? No, he's not smiling. So what do we do? Well, depending on how big of a smile you want, is how far down from the mouth you go. Let's try it here. So you have the yarn poking out through here. Let's loop it around through like that, and all we're going to do is pull it down. Oh my God, look at that, a smile. And then just take and poke it straight back through the same hole, and then back up through where you came out. Pull it down through, kind of wangle it where you want it, and you have a nice little cute little smile there. And one more time, tie it off. Use whatever knot you like. I like this knot. I've been doing it this way for years. My hands just know to do it at this point. There, like that. Thread it through. See, now I have a nice long piece of yarn that I want to keep. So when I do my next face, I'll just break this one back out and use a little more of it. And pull that through. And then you wanna do more detail, you go nuts. You wanna put little ears on them, you wanna put little something else on them. This is your project, this is your little butterfly. It doesn't belong to me, this belongs to you. You do what you want with them. Sometimes you get a little wonky hole, so just manipulate them and go like that. And then all that's left to do is go ahead, snip him free, and he's done. He is alive and ready to fly. Look at that. Isn't that the cutest little butterfly you ever made? I bet it is. Well, thanks for joining me here today. I hope you come back and see us again. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment down below. I want to see all of your little butterflies that you made. Show me what you did differently. Show me the improvements that you've made. This is not the definitive way to do this. If you find something better, let me know. I want to know. All right, and we'll see you back here next time, and for yarn's sake.